Welcome to or this will be the last part of our discussion for data modeling. So, nakita niyo naman, the episode 1 started from 7 a.m. So, nasa 6 p.m. na tayo. And still, this will be the last part of our discussion for chapter 2, part 3. So, we talked all about naman sa chapter 1, what will be the cardinalities, what will be how we can actually categorize how to shape data. Then sa pangalawa, how can we manifest, how can we manipulate them. And pangatlo, this will be the time na mag-gather tayo ng information, how can we build them step by step. So, hello and welcome to Data Modeling Design Part 3. And the objective still is the same. Yan. Then, here is the data modeling design, and this is the plan for data modeling. So, the first plan, or the first thing that we must define will be the diagram first. So, diagram, it is a data model contains one or more diagrams, and the diagrams is a visual representation that captures the requirements of the precise form. So in easy words, a diagram is a visual representation of the data model. So diagram is how do these data models be connected to one another. So it uses boxes and lines to show. So entities, this is our entities. This is the entities. This is the entities. And sa loob ng entities na yun, we actually define what the attributes is, or what are the attributes. Then the relationship between those entities. So student enrolls in, this is the, what do you call this? This is the relationship alias. Then this is the entity pala. Sorry, hindi pala entity to kanina. Sabi ko entity yan. So this is entity. This is the entity. And to capture that, we create what we call this diagram. Student enrolls in a course. Then, doon na naman natin i-implement yung tinatawag natin na cardinality. So, a student enrolls in a course. So, multiple students and multiple students enrolls in multiple courses. Then definitions. Definitions of the entities, attributes, and relationships are essential for maintaining the precision of the data model. So, sinabi ko kanina doon, the entity could be a person, a place, an object, or an event that stores data. And kung magre-refresh tayo from chapter 2, ito yung mga questions or anything that answers the what, when, where, who, why, and how questions. So those are what you call the entity. Then attributes, what are the data that describes that entity. So if our entity is student, what could be the data should the student entity should have? So student name and student number. Then relationship, what will be the relationship of the entity to another entity? What will be the relationship of a student to the course entity? So clear definition help avoid confusion and keep the data model more accurate. Then, oops, skip ko siya. Diagram definition, and this is the issues and outstanding questions. So na-experience nyo na ba na at some point na-stuck kayo sa ginagawa ninyo kasi hindi nyo alam yung sagot doon sa isang bagay. For example, you done activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, activity 4, na-stuck ka dito sa longer times, activity 4, before you done activity 5, 6, 7. So, ang sabi ng issues and outstanding questions, so frequently the data modeling process raises issues and questions that may not be addressed during the data modeling phase. So, possible na we should skip this first, pero make sure na before we build the system, we have answers for them. So, sabi dito, while creating the data model, some questions may not have an answer yet. So does that mean you will sit that forever? You just have to skip it first, then go back before you finalize the database. So sabi dito, sample, can one student enroll in multiple courses? Kung hindi mo sure kung pwede pala yun. Malay mo, sa school na to pwede, sa school na to hindi. So hindi mo pa sure. Is a student's email required? Who is responsible for updating the records? Ito din, hindi mo din alam kung it's register ba, Pwede na ba si dean? Pwede na ba ang college? Pwede na ba ang clerk account? So something like that. You don't know the answer yet. So these questions are listed so they can be answered later before the database is finalized. So it's okay na hindi mo pa alam yung answer for now, pero before you finish the database, before you build the database, then you must have a clear depiction on how do those answers um, be centralized, or how do those questions has a clear depicted answer. Then we have the lineage. So for physical and sometimes logical data models, it is important to know the data lineage. That is where the data comes from. So in simple terms, how do the data enters through your system? So the data lineage means knowing where the data comes from. Hindi naman nag-o-automatic nag-create yung system mo ng data. So how it moves through the system. So here, the data came from the student registration form encoded by the user, then masasave siya sa database. Then, since hindi gagamitin siya sa enrollment system, after the enrollment system, the student portal ang gagamit ng data na yun. So, these are separate systems. Student registration form is a separate system, register system and database are separate, enrollment is separate, and student portal is separate. But get this, the data moves within from them, from one to the other. So, if may nakita kayong data sa database ninyo at alam nyo na walang capacity yung system ninyo na mag-create ng ganong data, then some point may nag-enter nung data na yon. So, we have to check the lineage kung saan yung source nung data na yon. Kung hindi, possible na kung hindi nyo alam or walang backlog or walang backtracking na nangyari, walang logs sa auditing, then possible na the data is not that hindi siya ganun ka-integ, uh, lesser yung tinatawag natin na integrity. So, build a data model, build the models, and sometimes modelers actually rely on the previous analysis and model work. So, instead na they will do the kapa-kapa session, they may study the existing data models and databases and refer to the published standards and incorporate any data requirements. So, galing pa rin tayo sa chapter 1, doon sa tinatawag natin na documentation, doon sila usually magre-rely on how they do integration, even migration, or even complete system upgrade. So before the building of data model, they must know the existing data models. So kung hindi, possible na hit or miss yung magiging progress nila when it comes to the development of a new data model. Then we have here the forward engineering. So forward engineering is a process of building a new application beginning with the requirements. Isipin nyo na lang to na ito yung tinatawag natin na step-by-step flow. I will not I will not stay longer dito sa PowerPoint na to because meron siyang clear depiction on how do we do that. So here are the stages that we do have the requirement space. We got the requirements and paano natin siya magagamit sa system. And the system would allow, for example, ito, student clearance system. The system should allow students to request and monitor their clearance. So those are an example of requirements. Then conceptual data model, you have to check for the scope and the key business concept ng inyong system using a conceptual data model. So, sinasabi ko last time, this is created by the strategists. Ano nga ba yung definition ng isang system? Ano nga ba yung kayang gawin ng isang student? Ano ba yung kayang gawin ng isang teacher? Under siya ng conceptual data models. And conceptual data models should define the entities that we do. So, we have student here, registrar, library, cashier, and college. And this is a relation, what? Sa apat na na-discuss natin kanina, what is this? Yung nagtatanong, yung nagde-describe doon sa certain, ano na yon? What is that? Okay. Then, we have the logical data model, and it represent in the business solution. It is a detailed model, shows entities. Ito na yung na-create na entities, ano yung attributes and relationships. So, see this. Sa conceptual, na-determine mo na yung entities. Sa logical, na-determine mo na yung mga attributes ng each entity na yon, and ano yung relationship ng entity 1 kay entity 2, then what will be the cardinality of those. Then represent the business solution. Then finally, you will do the physical data model wherein you will convert that into an SQL or an actual database design with table, columns, data types, and keys. So, doon tayo sa totoong SQL table. So, medyo nag-skip lang tayo last time na nag-create agad tayo ng physical data model using your GUI and your SQL activity if you haven't forgot it yet. Okay? So, tables such as students, registrar, library cashier with primary foreign keys. So, ganun tayo. Hanapin mo na yung requirements, mag-uncover ka ng mga entities na involved doon sa requirements na yon. Doon sa mga entities, bulat-latin mo siya. Ilan nga ba yung entities? Ano nga ba yung attributes sa entities na yon, ng mga relationship, then bulat-latin mo pa more. What will be the actual database? So, yan. Then, ito pa din, yun, gather requirements, parang same lang. Same lang siya. Gather requirements, create the conceptual data model, create the logical data model, create the physical data model, and finally build the database. Since nag-create mo na yung physical, then doon ka na. Type mo na siya doon sa mismong SQL page. So, this is the conceptual data modeling. So, nasabi ko na to kanina. You are creating, basically you are creating the entities. So select a scheme, select a notation, complete the initial CDM or the conceptual data modeling, and collect the highest level concepts such as nouns, yung mga tinatawag natin na entities. Entities. Then collect the activities and verbs and connect these concepts. Relationship can go both ways or involve more than two concepts. And incorporate terminology and obtain a sign-off. Then logical data modeling, analyze the information requirements rather, from the conceptual. So ano yung mga possible na mga relationships or analyzing ng mga information requirement. Then analyze the existing documentation, if meron na, if wala pa, pero meron usually yan. Use pre-existing data artifacts, including built-in data models and databases, and associative entities. What does associative means? Kung entity A, entity B, kung pwede ba siyang i-associate dito, si entity A sa entity B, kung possible ba, yes. For example, student and teacher. Hindi naman pwede yung student and ano yung mga something na entity na walang relationship. Student and wait, na medyo na-blank ako. Student and um, teaching loads. 'Di ba? O si student and teaching loads are not compatible kasi nga walang relationship. Student cannot do teaching loads. Then attributes, describe mo kung ano yung entity na yon, what will be the uh, attributes of that entity, assign na domains. Sinabi ko kanina sa domains na possible na pwede siyang 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 na lang for allow consistency of format. Kung true or false yan, 1 or 0. Kung gender yan, F or M lang para mas madali. I-assign mo yung 1 for F, 0 for M, pwede yan, or 1 for true, 0 for false. Then, assign keys. Yan. Then, mag-assign ka na niya ng tinatawag natin na primary keys and foreign keys. Then, resolve logical abstraction. Then, attribute details. Pwede mo siyang expound pa. Then, add reference data for the objects. Then, finally, add the surrogate keys. If they are not matching or the unique key values are not visible to the business, and have no meaningful relationship with data which they are matched, doon ka pa lang gagawa no ating tinatawag na surrogate keys. Then, the physical data model, pwede ka daw mag-perform dito ng denormalization for the performance. From the very, very granular, gawin mo lang siya na isang linya. na nandun na lahat yung data. Then, index for performance, partition for performance. Pwede mo gawin yung vertical tsaka horizontal splits. Then, create views. Pwede kang mag-create dyan ng mga views. Then, possible din yung tinatawag natin na reverse engineering. Pwede mong i-copy or reverse engineering sa process of documenting an existing database. Hanapin mo yung PDM of the PDM is completed first. Baliktad si PDM muna, si physical data model, then si logical data model, then gagawa ka ng conceptual data model. Pero mahirap ang reverse engineering kasi mag-start ka from start. Ang existing database kasi pwede naman, buksan mo yung database, hanapin mo yung query na ginagamit nila, then i-convert mo siya into an LDM, then convert mo siya into ACDM. Then, review the data models. What are the quality control? Kung meron ba siyang possible improvement practices na kailangan mo sundin. Kung wala, possible naman na wala. Meron at meron yan. Then, maintain the data models. Updates to the data model need when the requirements change and frequently when the business process change. So, possible talaga na may pagkakataon na ma-alter natin yung tinatawag natin ng mga data models kasi nga ever-evolving naman talaga yung mga requirements ng isang business or isang organization. So, possible na i-maintain mo yung i-maintain mo na existing bago mo i-apply yung changes na kailangan mo. So, updates to the data model need to be made when requirements change frequently. Kasi nga, for example, naglagay sila doon ng naghahanap na sila doon ng attributes for kilogram, hindi, for students' weight. Eh, doon sa dati mong model, wala namang weights doon. So, saan yung paglalagyan ng data na yun? So, kung di mo siya in-update. So, kailangan mo din siyang i-update. So, many data modeling tools hope to automate this process by comparing the physical with logical. So, from physical and logical, kumbaga kakapit mo dito yung current na query. Then, logical means i-check niya if still pa din siya dun sa logical layers. Then, we have the data modeling tools. Madami tayo yan to automate. Pero I guess mas maganda yung you do it yourself. And entry-level data modeling tools provide basic drawing functionality. Pwede kang mag-drag and drop dun ng mga circles, ng mga ganito, foot scroll, and more sophisticated data modeling tools supports forward engineering from conceptual to logical to physical. So, ganun tayo. Then, after nun, pwede mo siyang parang i-automate i-automate as the data definition language. Data definition language, ito yung time na mag-create tayo ng table. Yung pinapagawa ko sa inyo last time, yung create table, Excel, tapos yan. Tapos, yan pala. Tapos, andito yung column name, data type, tapos gaano siya kahaba. Yan. Then, lineage tools para mahanap mo or it easy to capture and maintain the sources structure for each attributes in data models. And what are the possible impact analysis. Then, finally, the data profiling tools. Then, sabi dito, data profiling tools can help explore the data content, validate it against existing metadata. Kung wala or kung wala siya sa existing metadata, possible na some part is meron tayong what do you call this? May lose sa integrity ng ating metadata, even sa data. And identify the data quality gaps and deficiencies as well as the deficiencies in existing data artifacts, such as logical and physical models. Sir, meron po ba tayong artifacts for CDM, for the conceptual data model? So, CDM kasi, gine-create yan ng mga strategies yung pinakataas. Pero possible siya na may mga possible na data artifacts with the CDM. Uh, si logical tsaka si physical, nandun na sila sa latter part ng ating data model development tools. And we also have the repositories where we actually share or we actually store the metadata with a descriptive information. So lalagyan mo siya. Then data model patterns, if yung ginamit ba natin na data model can be reused sa ibang structures, kung possible ba si student, tapos si teacher na ginagamit mo natin sa enrollment system, possible ba siya sa clearance system, mga ganong type ng data modeling. Then industry data models, sometimes they are pre-built for the entire industry. Pwede yung tinatawag natin na healthcare, telecom, insurance, banking, and manufacturing. So those are the industry data models. Pero, then again, sinasabi ko sa inyo, possible na ang data model mo is purely custom built. Kasi nga may different organizations has different requirements. So, andito yung industry data model. Pwede mo siyang gawing basihan, pero nasa sa inyo pa din yun. Since may iba't ibang requirement ang iba't ibang mga organization. So these are the best practices and naming conventions sa ating databasing. So this is created by ISO or the ISO 11797 or the Meta Registry. So here is the rules for the naming convention of the databasing. So pag gagamit tayo ng naming standard, create and follow a standard way of naming of the databases. Pag ang pangalan ng ating entity is student, the table name should be maliit na S. Tapos, it is in plural form. For example, teacher. Teachers. Maliit yung S, maliit yung T doon, tapos meron siyang S sa dulo. Those are the naming standards. And it's possible din na descriptive name. If yung entity nyo is, let's say, or this is the attributes. Okay? Instead na SN, ilagay mo student name. Okay? Then, possible na student ID. This is an example of a camel casing since, yun nga, S, tapos I, student name, tapos capital N. Okay. So, ang ruling lang natin pag pangalan niya is entity, ang entity niya is student, and it will become table name, maliit dapat ang S, tapos magiging plural form siya. Then, dapat unique siya, hindi dapat siya ulit-ulit sa student ID, para makapag-avoid ng confusion. Then, apply standards consistently, kasi mamaya ito maliit na C to, tapos ito malaking O, tapos maliit na P yun. So, kung ano yung pinili mo, dapat consistent siya all throughout. Then, huwag kang gagamit ng mga production terminologies. Kasi katulad dito, dev student. So, hindi mo alam kung development student ba yan or student development or prod student. Hindi mo alam kung ano yung meaning ng prod. Then, write clear definitions. Pwede ring enrollment date para dinidefine niya na yung sarili niyang information. Dinidefine niya na yung sarili niyang column name. Then, best practices in database design, performs ease of use. Ito yung pinaka-ini-ensure namin dati na dapat madali siyang mahanap, madali siyang mabasa, at madali siyang ma-approve ng mga user. In both business and relevant form for valuing both applications and the data. Possible ba yung database mo can be reusable with other systems? You should have to ensure that. Then lastly, ito yung sinasabi ko, yung integrity. Sana lahat ng data na create ninyo, you should have perform data lineage. Then security, trust and accurate data should always be maintained available to authorized users lang. Hindi mo siya pwedeng ipamigay doon sa mga tinatawag natin na external sources of data. Doon lang tayo sa internal tsaka doon sa conceptuals. Then maintainability, you should have means to maintain Then, data analysts and designers act as intermediaries between information and consumers. And data models and database design should be reasonable balance between short-term needs and long-term needs of the enterprise. So ito yung pinapagawa, conduct design reviews with a group with the subject matter experts representing different kinds of backgrounds, skills, expectations, and opinions. Then in reviews, when there is no approval, the modeler must rework the design and resolve the issues. So it's like a group census if they will move forward with the current data model. Then data models and other design specifications require careful change control, just like requirements. And dapat meron tayong tinatawag na ah, rollback version. Or pwede dapat tayong bumalik doon sa version na bago natin in-apply yung mga changes. Why the project or situation required change? Dapat nasasagot to. What and how the objectives change, including the tables. Kung kailangan natin i-modify yung tables, yung columns, yung rows, doon dapat siya nasasagot. When the change was approved and when the change was made to the model, it should be logged. Sino yung nagpalit at kailan na-apply yung kapalitan. If something went wrong and wala tayong answer in any of this at wala tayong sagot doon sa rollback at the same time, then the current copy ng ating data model are at risk. Then, data modeling metrics, mag-create tayo dito ng tinatawag na comparison on before and after ng changes, kung bumilis ba siya, na-capture pa rin ba niya yung mga requirements, kumpleto ba yung model, nagmamatch ba siya sa scheme, something like that. Then, tapos na. Oh my gosh. So, ayun, medyo na-caught na naman tayo um, sa discussion. So, hindi ko na malayan na naman. Natapos na pala yung ating chapter 2. Well, anyways, for your activity, you will be passing this on next week. So, basically, ang gagawin is mag-model kayo. You will create a UML, tapos entity, then you will do relationship aliases, then the cardinality ng entity 1 sa entity 2, tapos entity 3. Possible na yung gagawin nyo will include binary and ternary relationship between the two. Kasi nga, since our laboratory technology, which is MySQL, is deeply RDBMS or Relational Development Relational Database Management System. So, most likely ganito yung gagawin natin. Sir, same po ba yan sa ERD or the Entity Relationship Diagram? Yes po. Okay, meron siyang cardinality, meron siyang relationship aliases, entity. So, sa loob ng entity na yon, meron dapat kayong entity name, primary key, then the attributes, then hindi ko na siguro ilapalagay yung mga behaviors. Sige, wag na tayong maglalagay ng mga behaviors. And with that, I'll be seeing you guys next week. And ayun, nami-miss ko kayo for the entire week. So, watch nyo lang tong video na to so you're not lost with anything. So, yun lang and see you next week.